When somebody asks you, who are you, what comes to mind? When you ask yourself, who am I, what comes to mind? Some of you may have thought entrepreneur, wealth management, volunteer, or scam artist. Identity is a tricky thing. It's not always clear-cut, and I'll share with you a story about growing up that illustrates this. Once upon a time, I was born at San Francisco Children's Hospital in San Francisco Children's Hospital on a Friday around 5 p.m. Yes, I was a happy hour baby. By a Korean mother from Seoul and a third-generation Japanese father from the Central Valley of California. Now, if you were to ask me who I was in high school, I would have defined myself by the type of music that I listened to. I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood in Oakland called Piedmont. But I loved growing up in the 90s, at first, grunge rock and heavy metal. Listened to Metallica, Nirvana, and then I graduated to hip hop, in which my role models were Tupac and the Wu-Tang Clan. And I emulated a lot of the behaviors that I saw in music videos, like baggy clothes, sagging my pants, flipping my hat backwards. And I just really loved music. But I felt out of place because I grew up with a lot of white people, I loved black culture, but all the Asian kids at my high school played instruments in the orchestra and were very studious. And to be honest, I wasn't the best student, so I couldn't relate. I feel like a lot of the trouble that I got into as a child, or as a kid growing up, was because I didn't quite fit in with any of the groups. Shortly after I graduated high school, I went to college, which was predominantly white and Latino. I decided I would embrace being more white. I literally went and I got blue eye contacts, and I bleached my hair blonde. And I remember coming home for vacation, and my mother distinctly saying, and almost having a heart attack when she saw my hair, "Why did you bleach your hair blonde? Are you ashamed of the black, beautiful hair that I gave you?" And for me, this wasn't a wake-up call yet. For me, the wake-up call was the rave culture. For any of you that have been to a rave in the Bay Area, you'll know that it's predominantly Asian. And so when I went, I was like, wow, none of these Asian kids were at my high school. Like, no, partying and having fun. But despite the fact that it was predominantly Asian, all races attended these events. And it was a beautiful thing because they were all accepted. Not only accepted, but celebrated. It was one of the very first times in my life that I felt like I could be myself. And I didn't have to pretend to be somebody who I wasn't. And it was so refreshing at the first time. So I got rid of the bleached hair, which my mother was extremely happy about. I stopped fussing around with blue eye contacts, which were a pain in the ass to put in my eyes anyways. And I felt like I was comfortable in my own skin for once. Now, I've been fortunate to have many experiences that have helped define who I am today, but I know this is only the beginning. And that as we all age, it doesn't stop. Our identity continues to evolve as we take on different roles in life, as we interact with different groups. And my call to action for you all is to find the identity that allows you to be the best version of yourself. We're moving into the third week of 2019, and I encourage you all to continue to keep growing, to take risks, be willing to experiment, accept your imperfections because we all have them, and avoid envy Because no matter how successful people seem on the outside, they're fighting their own battles. Just ask Kanye West. It's 2019, and I am very optimistic about what the future has to hold, and I hope you all go out there and create better.